with a very strange-looking ultrasound. There's one baby in there. Then there's two. Then there's one again, and it looks as if they're fighting, or rather one is attacking the other. But then the screen goes blank. 17-year-old Maria sees her reflection in the mirror with contempt. As she eats breakfast with her parents, an awkward silence hangs between them. When she gets on the school bus, one of the boys, Mark, blocks her path. Lily is a champion ice skater. She watches alone as Sean practices hockey, and she stares in envy as Lily skates over to him and the two make out. Clearly, she wishes she was as pretty as her best friend. Then maybe the boys might pay her some attention. And that night, Maria's engaging in another awkward dinner with her parents. Senior prom's coming up, and her mother is trying to convince her to ask a boy out that she knows. Maria snaps at her mom and storms off. She doesn't want any part of it. Once she's gone, her father sighs. He isn't surprised by his daughter's reaction at all, and he thinks it's time that they admit their daughter is screwed up. Little does he realize that Maria's sitting around the corner, listening to everything being said. Feeling more depressed than usual, Maria sneaks into her parents' room to use her mother's makeup. It's then that she sees a photo tucked behind the mirror. The photo is of an ultrasound, presumably of when Maria was a baby. There are two fetuses in the photo. Maria looks a tad confused. Maria's in the bathroom sitting on the vanity masturbating, looking happy for once when her reflection moves on its own. When Maria notices, she flips out, only to quickly calm herself and look a little closer, as if not believing. But sure enough, the reflection moves on its own again, and Maria flees the bathroom in panic. The next morning, she tries to tell her father about what happened. Lily has scored a new car, and she gives Maria and Sean a lift to school. Maria watches on in jealousy as the two make out. Once at school, that bully Mark trips her and laughs about it. Sean tries to defend her, but this only seems to upset Lily. Maria's having a bath. She ducks her head under the water and we get visions of an operating room and the sounds of a baby crying. She resurfaces quickly, out of breath, not knowing what she saw. And that night, Maria works up the courage to look at her reflection again. This time, however, it talks back. Maria's scared at first, but her reflection soon calms her. The reflection's name is Aram, and she tells Lily that she's always been with her because she is her. The next morning, she tells her parents that she will go to the prom, and they're both so pleased. Maria's father's a plastic surgeon, and we see him helping a woman with breast augmentation. Maria waits for him in the waiting room, but when he comes out, another female patient is there. She urges Maria's father to see her, nearly begs him. Maria watches the interaction to realize that they're having an affair. Maria and her father are now at the movies together when she spots Mark. Then she bumps into him outside, and he pretends to be her friend simply because her father's there. Aram tries to convince Maria that her father is embarrassed by her. Maria doesn't believe her, but later, when she visits her father at work, he gives her a very detailed breakdown of the plastic surgery he would like to perform on her. Very detailed. He basically calls her ugly, but claims he can make her beautiful by shaving off this and removing that and fixing those. Maria holds back the tears, something she's used to by now. So Maria's bitching about her parents to Aram. Aram makes a joke about her mother needing to get laid, which sends Maria in a fit of laughter. Her mother hears this laughter and steps inside to see her daughter alone, wanting to know who Maria's talking to. Either that or Maria must be on drugs. Her mother doesn't seem to know which she'd prefer. She later raises this concern with her husband, but as expected, he waves her down. She becomes hysterical, so he lays her down and tries to calm her by applying a face mask. She tells him that the dreams are back. He seems unconcerned, claiming that they'll go away as they always do. The school prom takes place on an ice rink, so Maria needs to learn how to skate. Lily offers to help, but unfortunately Maria's pretty useless and falls over nearly right away. She begs Lily to help her, but Lily smiles and skates away. But not before warning Maria to stay away from Sean. Lily always does this, pretending to be her friend but treating her like less than she. Maria doesn't want to believe it, but soon Aram has her remembering all the terrible things that Lily has done. But there is a way that Aram can help. She can take away all of Maria's pain and all of the hurt. All Maria has to do is trust her. Slowly, she puts her hands on the mirror, mimicking Aram's actions. Then she leans in, about to kiss her on the lips when a knock on the door interrupts Maria. It's her mom. Tonight's the night of the prom and she has to get ready. She does just this, looking beautiful. When Maria turns up at the prom, for a moment she actually believes it. Sean asks her for a dance, and for a few moments everything seems perfect. She falls over, and Mark drags her along the ice to the laughter and jeers of the school. It's humiliating, and Maria flees in tears. Back home, Maria goes to Aram, in tears. She needs her help. They touch hands, and Maria kisses the mirror. And then, that night her mother has a nightmare. She's on the operating table giving birth. She's in pain, and she's screaming. She's in bed at home, and blood is pouring down her legs as her husband cuts himself in the bathroom. Maria is a changed woman. In fact, it's not Maria at all, but Aram. She eats breakfast for the first time. At school, Mark tries to tease her, and she approaches him, whispering seductively in his ear while stroking his package. Sean approaches Aram and asks what she said. She told him, and he can't believe it. Lily apologizes to Aram for what happened at the prom, but she doesn't seem to care, instead asking if Lily will still help teach her how to skate. Lily is naturally confused by this, but agrees. Aram visits her father at work and kisses him gently on the cheek, telling him that she missed him. He looks a little concerned and hurries from the room. From there, she manages to get her hands on the number of the patient that she believes her father's having an affair with. She calls and lies about her father wanting to see her tomorrow. She asks the receptionist to tell her mother to come to the office at the same time, that her father is planning a surprise lunch. Her mother's in bed looking depressed when the phone rings. It's the receptionist telling her about the lunch. Maria's mother seems thrilled and eagerly gets ready. However, when she's in the elevator to her husband's office, the woman he's having an affair with is also there. She comments on the woman's dress, who says that it's the doctor's favorite. Aram and her mother eat dinner alone. She asks where her father is, if he's still at work. Her mother, seeming distracted, nods absently and says, probably. Aram, however, pushes, making a very strange comparison between their marriage and a cold piece of steak. She then demands that her mother admit that he's another woman, and her mother slaps her across the face. In the bathroom, the older Maria is getting upset with her replacement. She's stuck behind the mirror, but she's able to see everything that Aram has been doing and saying. She wants her to stop, but Aram points out that it's all true, and that Maria wants it. Aram watches hockey practice. As she does, Sean skates up and tells her that she's dead. When practice is over, Sean sees Aram walking alone toward the change rooms. He follows her, hearing the shower running. He sneaks in. However, when he jumps in the shower, it's empty. Until Aram steps out of nowhere and smashes his knee with a hockey stick. He drops to the ground, unable to stand, and Lily and Aram go ice skating. On the way, they listen to music, and Aram smiles and sings, and Lily can't believe how happy she is. But when they get to the rink, she's shocked to see that Aram can now skate. Not only can she skate, but she's good. Lily tries to outdo her, but Aram matches the moves easily. Lily manages to perform a move that sees Aram on the ground. But this only makes things worse. As she gets back to her feet, she fixes Lily with a deranged look. Not liking the looks of it, starts to skate away, but Aram chases her. Lily flees for her life, looking over her shoulder as her friend's getting closer. Suddenly, she trips, falls, slides across the ice, and hits her head on a wall. She dies instantly, which only seems to please Aram. She then picks up the phone and makes a call to the police, faking the tears and acting upset. Maria starts to realize that maybe she made a mistake by letting Aram take over. She begs for Aram to stop, but she claims she didn't do anything, and that Maria is better off without Lily. Maria asks who Aram is, but Aram somehow manages to force Maria back to being a reflection. It isn't really clear why or how, though. It's Lily's funeral, and the mood is bleak. Aram watches Sean from afar, and when he's watching her, she pretends at being upset and leaves. He follows her to make sure she's alright, and through some serious powers of persuasion, she manages to get him to invite her over to his house to grieve. But once there, however, she forces herself on him. Aram's having dinner with her father. Soon she starts to act up. She takes his wine glass, leans back in her chair, giggles loudly as she eats, and allows for the food to drip down her chin. Her father, furious, snaps at her. He commands that she start acting like an adult, not a little girl trying too hard. The relationship between Aram and Sean heats up, and it's clear that she's a bad influence on him. Although again, who could blame him? They flirt in class, make out in the hallways, have in her house when her mother's downstairs. Soon, she has Sean cutting class with her. She takes him to a seedy hotel that she's booked, and she even stole a bottle of vodka off her mom. It's gonna be a good time by the looks of it, until Sean's mother calls asking where he is. Apparently, the police are at the school, and want to speak to both of them. He's apologetic and says he'll return now, but Aram doesn't want to. She has no desire to talk to the police, and as she pulls away, Sean starts to suspect there might be a reason for this. She tries to seduce him again, but he pushes her away. She smashes him over the back of the head with the vodka bottle, killing him. Maria's really starting to regret her decision now, and strangely, it might even look as if Aram is. There's a symbiotic relationship existing between the two, and Aram's actions seem to be affecting them both. It's a dream sequence, and Maria's mother's back on the operating table, having just given birth. Her husband's there too, and he tells her that one of the babies is deformed, disgustingly so. He claims that killing it will be a mercy, and although the mother begs to see her baby, the father refuses. He buries it outside in the snow. Feigning at being drunk, Aram turns up at her father's practice and has him carry her into the surgery room. Once there, she stands up and quickly undresses down to nothing. He's uncomfortable and asks her to put her clothes on, but she demands that he see her, and asks if he would still want her if she was deformed. Then when she's close enough, she slices his throat with a scalpel and watches him bleed out. As he dies, she asks, "Why couldn't you love me?" As she washes up, she looks at her reflection and calls to Maria. Maria doesn't show, and Aram, not understanding, smashes the mirror. She then wanders home looking terrified. We cut to her bed with her mother, snuggled up in her right arm. The camera blinks, and she's in her mother's left arm. It blinks again, back to the right. It cuts between these two positions until finally, her mother is cradling them both in her arms.